WrestleMania 7 happened during a time when this country was at war. It happened during the Persian Gulf War, and that's what made this show so important. Sergeant Slaughter, who had always been a U.S. guy, came back and was an Iraqi sympathizer. This event was supposed to take place in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, but it took place in the sports arena. Pretty good WrestleMania, if I must say so myself. I don't think it was actually all that bad, to be honest. Anyway, regardless, the event took place on Sunday, March 24th, 1991. A couple steps backwards giving Hogan the title, but hey, regardless, there was a match before the show. Koko B. Ware defeated the Brooklyn Brawler. Anyway, 16,158 were in attendance. Willie Nelson sang the national anthem. Probably high, of course. Gotta love good old Willie. Opening match of the night was the Rockers against Haku and the Barbarian. This was a great opener. But it's Shawn Michaels, so how is it not going to be? Shawn Michaels could wrestle a broom to at least a 4-star match. But, this match was a great opener. Fantastic, yo. I love this. I love the match. Rockers got the win overall. Great way to open up WrestleMania. It had a very, very big fight feel to it. Regis Philbin, Alex Trebek, Marlon Maples were there. Texas Tornado defeated Dino Bravo. Both of these men have since passed away, which is sad to see. Dino Bravo would pass away about 2 years after this. Kerry Von Erich, I believe, passed in 92, I believe. No, he would also pass, I think, in 93, if I'm not mistaken. But Kerry Von Erich was the Texas Tornado here, and he defeated Dino Bravo. Not much to this match. They only got about 3.5 minutes. That's something you could skip. Bulldog and the Warlord. It was what it was. I never really did like the Warlord. Don't know why. Just was never a big Warlord guy. Nothing wrong with his ring style. I was just never a big fan of his as far as his whole wrestling style goes. I was never a big fan. Now we get to a match that I actually did like, though. The Nasty Boys defeating the Hart Foundation. And the story here is that Jimmy Hart turned his back on the Hart Foundation, and he is joining the Nasty Boys, Jerry Saggs and Brian Knobbs. The Nasty Boys are one of those teams that, to me, in a way, were underrated. But, hey, that happens. You sometimes get teams that are underrated and that are not really as appreciated. And, hey, that happened to be here, but the Nasty Boys would win the match and would win the titles and would beat the Hart Foundation. I believe Jimmy Hart would hit him with his megaphone when this happened. And that would kind of help get the opening there. Jake the Snake Roberts defeated Rick the Martel in a blindfold match. This match was brutal to watch, but hey, it was a blindfold match, so there was not much to it. The guys were moving around, and it was very innovative in a sort that you had never seen it before. So it was something that was unique and different and something that was cool and just hip. Undertaker would debut at this WrestleMania, and he would take on the Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. And he would end up getting the win here, and we go to 1-0. And this is when the streak would really start. Of course, it would get to 21-0 before Brock Lesnar would break the streak at WrestleMania 30. But, this is just... There was no offense in this match, but it made The Undertaker look really strong, which is what it was supposed to do. Taker has always been one of my favorites, if not my favorite of all time. But, just no offense there at all by Jimmy Superfly Snuka. You get to the career-threatening match. Ultimate Warrior versus Macho King Randy Savage. Fantastic match. I love this match. I think this is Warrior's best match ever in his career. The only thing I didn't like in this was there was one time when Savage gave Warrior like 5 elbow drops, and he kicked out of it. He was pulling a Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns. It really made the impact of his move look weak, especially when he would beat guys with one move. It really made it look weak, and I didn't like it. But after the match, Sensational Sherry realizes her meal ticket is gone. Savage is no longer in the WWF, which he would be back the following year and competing for the title. But he realizes that, and then Elizabeth comes in the ring, attacks Sherry. Macho Man, Elizabeth reunite as it should be in a, very, very touching, emotional moment. They would get kayfabe married at SummerSlam that year. But that was a great way to make Macho Man come back as a fan favorite by having him celebrate with Elizabeth. This next match you can skip is Tenryu and Kaito against Demolition. -1 star. Terrible. God awful. Don't watch it. It was garbage. Big Boss Man defeated Mr. Perfect by DQ. I think he got attacked. Big Boss Man did. I believe it was by DiBiase. And Andre the Giant came out and helped him. It would be one of the last appearances by Andre the Giant in his life. One of them. Perfect had his Mania streak snapped the year before. Well, not Mania streak, but undefeated streak snapped the year before. And this happened. It is what it is. Earthquake defeated Greg Valentine. Dud. Not much to that match. Not much to the next one with the Legion of Doom and Power of Glory. That match went about 59 seconds. The Doomsday Device looked brutal, but other than that, there was really nothing to it. It looked sick, but it also looked, brutal. We're just chugging right along in this review. And there's, like I said, when the Mania is good, it's good. But from that Savage Warrior match, it picks up a little bit at Boss Man and Perfect and doesn't really come in good until the main event. But Virgil defeated DiBiase by countout. Of course, Virgil would become a good guy at Royal Rumble 91. Yeah. When DiBiase and him lost a tag match. And then DiBiase tried to attack Virgil or get Virgil to do something, hand him the belt. And Virgil would attack him. And, yeah, Virgil ended up being a good guy here. And it was it's quite something. The Mountie defeated Tito Santana. Dud, 1:20. Then we get to the match that everybody wanted to see. A match that was actually really not all that good. Hogan defeated Slaughter for the WWF title via a leg drop. Nothing really to this. You see oftentimes, you get caught up in a story. And this was one of those ones that got really real and really emotional. Because if you go back to Mania 6, Warrior won. And Warrior beat Hogan. And it looked like the future was going to be bright for the WWF. It looked like somebody else was finally going to be able to carry the torch. And it was going to be somebody else's, moment. But whatever happened, Warrior didn't materialize. And Sergeant Slaughter came back as an Iraqi sympathizer after being a U.S., guy for years. Came back, and it was real because the Persian Gulf War was going on at the time. And they blamed terrorist attacks or whatever for not going to a bigger stadium. But really, it was ticket sales and security. But, Slaughter was receiving death threats. That shows you how good he was at his role. He wanted to drop the angle entirely, from what I hear. He wanted to, but it's just crazy to really think, about everything that was really, happening here. It's the fact that, he was getting such death threats. But it's you go into the Rumble and Savage ends up costing Warrior the belt, which is why they end up feuding. And Slaughter wins the title. midway through the show, Hogan wins the Rumble. But at this point, the Rumble was just a prize that you went after. It wouldn't be until the next year when it would really have any relevance. Even though I consider 91 the first year where the Rumble winner went on to Main Event Mania, even though that was 93 because Hogan would win it in 91. But, as far as the match goes, it's pretty average. It's an average match. Hogan, unless he had a good opponent, never really had any that good of matches. He always had to be around the right opponent or have the right moment. Like his match with The Rock at 18 was more of a, it was a good match, don't get me wrong, but it was more of the moment. Now, the match with Warrior the previous year, like I said, was good. That match with Slaughter and Warrior, it kind of, this Mania more so did what it was supposed to do. It told the story of the Persian Gulf War and told the story of, the good guy, which was America, against the bad guy, which was Iraq or Iran at the time. And you could see patriotism all throughout. The ropes were red, white, and blue. It was red, white, and blue symbolism. And it was, all throughout just red, white, and blue. And also another interesting thing about this Mania is it would be the last 4-hour WrestleMania until WrestleMania 2000. They would go to 3 hours from Mania 8 to 15, which, sometimes it benefited, sometimes it didn't. Of course, 10 is one of the benefits where it did. 9 was one of the benefits where it didn't. But yeah, this is, a show that, like I said, was very, very memorable. And I think that it is something that is of note that you should really, really consider going back and rewatching. I got a bunch of pros and cons to this event. A lot of fond memories, going back and watching this event. I'm going to say a couple pros to the event. Honestly, I'd have to go with, obviously, the match of the night, the retirement match. I also think that the Hogan and Slaughter match, because of the story it told, was good. And just Taker's debut, because of what the Undertaker would become. Then I said, Mountie and Tito, Santana, Roberts and Martel and the General Tenryu and Kaito against Demolition as a con. Final grade for WrestleMania, I think, in all honesty, like I said, would be a B. I just think that it was an overall decent show. Like I said, it's not anything that's to hang your head about, but it had its moments. And I think that that's the important thing. And I think that is really the thing that people should note when they go back and really rewatch this WrestleMania. Because it had its good moments and then it had its bad moments. But that was a lot of the Manias from here on. I mean, I'm one of those ones. I enjoyed 8. A lot of people didn't enjoy 8, but you'll see that in the next one. And I thought 8 was really good. But anyway, guys, like I said, final grade B, solid WrestleMania. Go back and rewatch it if you haven't. Especially if you don't want to watch the whole show, and I were to give you one match to watch. Hogan Slaughter is important, but I'd say go back and watch Savage and Warrior. Just that's storytelling at its finest. But yeah, guys, as always, hope you guys enjoyed the review. This has been your boy Killer Cam. In the next episode, we'll review WrestleMania 8. Anyway, guys, peace.